离婚以后我就后悔了，但是说什么都晚了。
I regretted it after the divorce, but it was too late to say anything. My ex-husband didn't agree to remarry me. Take it from my personal experience. Women should never rush into a divorce. Over 98% of women regret it after they get divorced. In recent years, the divorce rate in China has been steadily rising. Notably, the latest statistics from the Ministry of Civil Affairs shows that 82.7% of divorce cases are initiated by women. Sadly, nearly all women who divorce eventually fall into regret, just like this woman reflecting on her experience.
我以为换个人我就幸福了。
I thought I would be happy with somebody else, so I chose to divorce. But after I saw the video my son sent me, I really regretted it. I finally realized that the ones hurt the most after a divorce are the children. So I wanted to remarry and give my child a complete family, but my husband doesn't agree. He knows that I regret it. I was only focused on finding a man who would make me happy, so I chose someone 5 years older than me. But not only did he not give me any money, he even asked me for money. If I didn't give it to him, he would get violent. It really proved that saying, if you didn't have a good first marriage, your second won't be better. If you think changing your partner will fix anything, you'll never find someone better than your first husband. You'll just end up with someone worse. So, I regret it. In fact, a survey of 5,000 divorced women reveals that within a year of their divorce, fewer than 2% found a partner better than their ex-husband. On the other hand, more than 60% of women lament that their lives have become harder. After divorce, their happiness has decreased by 15 to 20%. So, why do so many women initiate divorce? The core reason lies in economic struggles, unemployment, pay cuts, and growing life pressures, or because the husband has incurred heavy debts from failed investments or business ventures. Meanwhile, social media and toxic wisdom spread the illusion that you'll meet someone better after divorce, causing many women to choose impulsively. According to data released by the Ministry of Civil Affairs, over 3.5 million couples registered for marriage in the first half of this year, while 1.3 million couples registered for divorce. This means that for every 3 couples entering marriage, 1 couple chooses to separate. Nearly 60% of the divorce cases are concentrated among the middle-aged group. In the current economic downturn, couples who once fought together through tough times are now suffocating under the weight of mortgages, children's education, and elderly parents' care. Marriage is no longer an idealized, warm picture, but a tug-of-war over financial difficulties and basic survival. Recently, a painful truth has been widely discussed online in China. When a family falls into financial crisis and needs to sell a house to pay off debt, many couples find their relationship coming to an end.
信不信丈夫一旦负债
Believe it or not, once a husband falls into debt, it's basically a guaranteed divorce, almost no exceptions. This shows that as soon as a man loses his ability to earn money, the first person he starts looking down on is his own wife. These days, many couples share the good times, but very few can face hardship together. A 40-year-old blogger shared his marriage story. He once owned 4 houses, a BMW, and a Mercedes. He was considered a solid member of the middle class living in a 4th-tier city. But later, his business hit a low, and he started accumulating debt. He proposed selling one of his houses to pay off the debt, thinking his wife would support him. However, what he got in return was a divorce proposal, citing differences in values and serious internal conflicts. But he believed there were no fundamental issues in their marriage, no domestic violence, no third parties involved. He tried everything to salvage their relationship, but in the end, it was all in vain. To ensure a better life for his wife and child, he didn't fight over assets or custody, and generally let go of most of the assets, thinking he would make a comeback after the divorce. But over 2 years later, after multiple failed business ventures, he could only accept his situation. He didn't believe the saying online that a middle-aged man in debt will always be divorced, but now he's living proof. Data shows that in families with debts exceeding 500,000 yuan, the divorce rate triples. Some say this is just human nature, but let's look at the reasons behind the skyrocketing divorce rate. This loan consultant has done the math.
告诉大家一个很残酷的真相
Let me tell you a harsh truth. Marriage today is really an economic battle, especially for ordinary working-class families. Even if 2 people have a monthly income of 7,000 yuan each, what do they face once they're married? a newborn baby, which costs at least 2,000 yuan a month, and 4 elderly parents with no pension to rely on. You have to support them, at least 3,000 yuan each month. Then there's the mortgage, car loans, and daily living expenses. Your total monthly expenditure is no less than 10,000 yuan, but the combined income of both is only 14,000 yuan. The truly scary part is that families like this have a debt-to-income ratio 70% higher than other families. Debt during marriage is the #1 reason for divorce. Statistics show that economic issues lead to more than 60% of divorces, which is the current reality for many families in China. For ordinary people, marriage means shared debt, not shared prosperity. So the number of single people in China is continually breaking records. Now it exceeds 240 million.
我在足球贷款行业也有12年，其实见过很多因为经济压力。
I've worked in the loan industry in Zhuzhou for 12 years, and I've seen many couples who've had to divorce because of financial pressure. They say that it's not that they don't love each other, but reality has crushed them. It's all due to economic pressure, right? Ordinary people bear heavy financial burdens. Interestingly, marriages among wealthy people are more stable because they don't have to worry about daily expenses. So, being single may not mean avoiding responsibility. It could be a very rational choice. After all, a single person can control their living costs to less than 50%, but once you form a family, that number could rise to 150% or even higher. As this woman says, the deepest crisis in current marriages is not emotional alienation, but financial collapse. In many cities, mortgage payments account for a large portion of wages, creating immense pressure. Once the salary arrives, it's immediately deducted by the bank, and the 30-year repayment period almost drains the family's future cash flow.
你们现在每个月房贷多少钱啊？
How much is your mortgage each month? Can you even afford it? Last month, when my salary came in, I calculated it. My 20,000 yuan salary had 15,000 yuan taken for the mortgage, leaving only 5,000 yuan for our family of 6. This isn't just my experience. I read hundreds of comments, and I found that 65% of our followers in the 31 to 40 age range, mainly from the manufacturing industry, are under the same pressure. Speaking of mortgage payments, I think of a man named Zhang from Guangzhou. His monthly salary is 15,000 yuan, and his monthly mortgage is 12,000 yuan. Every day he wakes up owing 400 yuan to the bank. I'm not trying to stir up anxiety by giving this example, but I want to show that mortgage pressure is a common phenomenon. Just a few days ago, a man named Li from Foshan mentioned in the comments that his factory shut down for 20 days and his mortgage payments were already 3 months overdue. There are many cases like Li's. Someone else mentioned they're paying 6,000 yuan in monthly payments while earning 7,000 yuan. Remember, behind your mortgage are also your parents' medical expenses and your child's school fees. These are the things that make it impossible to quit your job.
In this situation, for many middle-aged people, marriage is no longer a safe haven, but has become a heavy burden they can't shake off. Some people, in order to avoid the risks of debt, take a strategic divorce approach, formally ending the marriage but continuing to live together. For example, when one spouse faces a large mortgage and the possibility of default, the other spouse may divorce them under the guise of caring for the children, trying to avoid debt claims or shift assets in the short term. This strategy, once common among entrepreneurs to handle business risks, has quietly spread to ordinary working-class families, especially during this economic downturn. Social researchers point out that the phenomenon of nominal divorce highlights the overall collapse of a family's ability to withstand financial risks. In first-tier cities, such cases have become commonplace, mostly among the 40 to 50 age group. After divorcing, these couples may still share bank accounts, divide household chores, but avoid legal liabilities. It sounds absurd, but it's the most helpless form of wisdom. Of course, while high divorce rates in China are primarily driven by economic pressures, there is another distinctive reason. After marriage, the wife's excessive financial support to her family often exceeds both her husband's emotional and financial limits, ultimately leading to the collapse of the marriage. In recent years, the term 伏地魔, literally supporting brother demon, has become popular online. It refers to women deeply brainwashed by patriarchal thinking from their birth families. These women would rather sacrifice their marriage and happiness to support their brothers, helping them rise in life and continue the family line. This phenomenon is especially rampant in rural China and smaller cities. It is estimated over 30% of divorces are affected by this. The woman in this video is a typical example.
为了给我弟弟买房，我和我老公离婚了。
I divorced my husband to buy a house for my brother. I used half of the assets from the divorce to buy him a house, but I didn't expect that after the divorce I would have nowhere to go. When I went to my brother's place, my sister-in-law turned me away, saying that having a divorced woman in the house was bad luck. Now I have nowhere to go. I gave up my family, my life, for my brother, and this is the outcome. I really regret it. Netizens commented, "This is the intelligence of many women. Now you're awake and you regret it? You deserve to have nowhere to go. You didn't take care of your own family. Aren't you being foolish? Your brain must have short-circuited." While this comment is harsh, it speaks the truth. Many Fudimo women are raised to believe that daughters are dispensable and that their brothers are the hope of continuing the family line. As a result, many women, in their efforts to support their brothers, destroy their own families and end up with nothing. These kinds of stories aren't rare. This video tells the tragedy of a Fudimo woman who destroyed her happy marriage with her own hands. Her brother, without any greeting, took her husband's car, resulting in numerous traffic violations. When the sister tried to educate him to become more careful, the brother turned on her, accusing her of having such good conditions but choosing such a husband. He complained that he wouldn't give him money for his wedding, and that it was so hard for him to drive the car. When she returned home, the woman began telling her husband about how her brother needed money for his wedding. "My brother's getting engaged, and the bride's family requires that the house be settled by the end of the year. We still need 300,000 yuan.
Are you asking me to give it to him? Is that what you mean?
Let's help him out first."
I guess that's what you mean. Let's have dinner first and we'll talk about it after.
They went to see the house and they're in a rush. This time, the man was resolute. He didn't want to fill this bottomless pit anymore. But to his surprise, his wife had already secretly transferred the money to her brother. Unable to tolerate it anymore, the husband decided to divorce. In an effort to lower the divorce rate, the Chinese authorities introduced a cooling-off period policy in 2021. After filing for divorce, couples must wait 30 days before the divorce can be registered if neither party withdraws. During this time, the wife's sister came to persuade them. To their surprise, the two sisters didn't admit any fault. Instead, they directly made an offer: buy a 300,000 yuan car for the brother and they'd forget about the divorce. The husband was completely disappointed and lost all hope for his wife. The wife finally realized the seriousness of the situation, became sober, and begged him not to divorce. "Now you're determined. Do you want to divorce?"
Now it's like this. Do you think we can still make it work?
"I know I was wrong, really. From now on, I won't help my brother or sister anymore. Can we live our lives well from now on?"
Let's each find peace and let each other go. Is that okay?
"I beg you, really, I know I was wrong. Can we not divorce, please?" Although the woman woke up to the situation, it was too late. In the end, they still decided to go down the divorce path. Of course, some people wake up in time. The following woman shared her experience of being asked to support her brother, but thankfully she was clear-headed enough to firmly refuse her parents' request. However, her story is truly both tragic and laughable.
刚刚接到我妈给我打的电话。
"I just got a call from my mom. She said my brother is 25 years old now and still doesn't have a car. It's hard for him to even get a girlfriend, so he needs a car. Your dad says it'll cost at least 20,000 yuan to buy a decent one." I said, "Well, you can buy it then." But she said, "Your brother's been working for only a few years, his salary isn't enough, and he doesn't have money for a car." I said, "Then don't buy it." But then my mom said, "Everyone in the family has a car, and we've raised 2 college students, but we still can't buy him a car. People will laugh at us. Your dad says, let's grit our teeth and get it for him. This year, we'll buy him a car no matter what." I said, "You can do whatever you want." But then my mom said, "We don't have enough money. We're still short a little." I told them to wait until they've saved enough. My dad said, "We can take out a car loan, but you'll have to pay it back." I asked her, "What does this have to do with me?" My mom said, "How does it have nothing to do with you? Once your brother has a car, you can get a ride when you come home. Isn't that like we're buying it for you?" I said, "I can rent a car to go home. I don't need him to pick me up." My mom said, "How can you not understand? After all I've said, you still don't get it? Look at which sister in the village doesn't buy a car or house for her brother. We're just asking you to chip in a little." I asked, "How much do you need?" My mom said, "We only have a little over 20,000 yuan. Then my mom started emotionally blackmailing me. "When I gave birth to you, I brought shame to the family. I had several miscarriages just to give birth to a son." She pressured me to send the money quickly, repeatedly reminding me not to tell my husband, so we wouldn't cause a conflict. She emphasized, "Your family is your strongest support." When I firmly refused, my mom called me a heartless wolf.
把电话给他挂了，不是听不懂话，是压根儿就不想。
I just hung up the phone. It's not that I didn't understand, it's just that I didn't want to. They want to buy a 200,000 yuan car, and they're putting up 20,000. That 20,000 yuan is the hospitalization fee I had to pay when my dad had a stomach bleed. It's the exact same money they're asking me to help with to fill the gap. It's really an absurd request. After I hung up, my mother starts sending me crazy messages on WeChat, accusing me of being hypnotized by my husband, saying I couldn't distinguish who was close and who wasn't. She emphasized that my brother is the most important person to me, and that he should come before my husband and kids, and it really pissed me off. This woman is quite clear-headed, otherwise she might have torn apart yet another family. In rural China, daughters are often treated like money-making machines for their parents. Take this woman, for example. On the day her daughter got married, she proudly showed off 2 stacks of RMB to her friends and relatives, shouting, "Look how good it is to have a daughter." The poster commented, "I don't know what's so great about this." Another netizen pointed out, "She's genuinely proud of having a daughter who's worth something. She honestly doesn't know that it's vulgar, materialistic, and low class." Now, high bride prices and extravagant wedding expenses have made many people afraid to even consider marriage. A couple, who had been in love for 6 years and were supposed to get married, saw their relationship fall apart on the wedding day because the bride insisted on asking for a 28,000 yuan exit fee from the wedding car after being influenced by her friends, leading to a tragic end to their wedding. The exit fee starts at 60,000 yuan. In our area, even for ordinary friends getting married, they expect money, like 2,000 yuan or more. At first, the bride hadn't brought up the issue, but then her best friend started brainwashing her. If he's being so stingy about getting married, how is he going to treat you in the future? He can't even buy you clothes. The bride began to have some doubts. Her best friend even suggested, "We're not going to agree to let her get out of the car." To ensure the wedding went smoothly, the groom hurriedly prepared a few big red envelopes. As the bride was about to get out of the car, the best friend opened the envelope in front of everyone. She looked inside and saw only 600 yuan, immediately complaining that it was too little. As the auspicious time passed, the bride still wouldn't get out of the car. The groom tried to persuade her kindly, but after repeatedly checking, he finally exploded in frustration, turned around, and left, declaring the wedding cancelled. Seeing the situation getting out of hand, the best friend panicked and pretended to play peacemaker, advising the bride to think of the bigger picture. But she shifted the blame, saying the bride was being unreasonable. Everything went wrong because of her, and in the end, the bride and groom didn't marry. He got his money back. It was reported that the bride initially asked for a bride price of 128,000 yuan, and her parents later raised it to 188,000 yuan. The groom reluctantly agreed, thinking the wedding would go smoothly, but the best friend intervened and ruined everything. Some people say that the best friend's move might have been out of concern for her friend, but others wonder if it was jealousy that she was marrying well. Netizens angrily commented that in the future, they need to guard against fire, theft, and best friends. However, some pointed out that the bride's sudden change of heart and listening to her best friend was already a problem. On the wedding day, making things difficult for the groom not only embarrassed the groom's family, but also reflected poorly on her own family. With this kind of reputation, it'll be hard to find a suitable partner in the future. She's probably regretting it deeply, and her best friend might end up becoming her enemy. Although the reasons for divorce vary, the root cause of the high divorce rate in China today still lies in the economic downturn, which has caused family pressures to increase sharply. Small conflicts escalate and eventually lead to the dissolution of families. Ordinary couples' everyday friction could usually be resolved, but the long-term economic burden exacerbates these small issues, eroding the emotional foundation, while economic decline further diminishes hopes for the future, severely weakening the determination and motivation to maintain the marriage.